Today, we become legends.
Hey, my name's Danza, and welcome back to the channel for the Smite 2 Closed Alpha 4 update notes. Apologies for being a little bit late on this one. Last night, they were definitely having some issues with the website. Even if I go to it right now, I can't find them. I had to go through, Smite Twitter and go through a link. Their websites are always terrible for this for some reason. And by the time the notes actually released, I was well in bed in terms of, UK time. So, we're covering them today, though, so it should be pretty exciting. Hercules and Danza coming in this update, and a bunch of other stuff. So, yeah, let's just jump right in. So, first up, audio latency has been improved in this patch, lower by approximately 20 milliseconds. We encourage the community to report any audio distortion issues, though this should be overall a strict upgrade. So yeah, they did talk about this a little bit on Titan Talk. Apparently, there was a substantial difference in when things hit and when the audio for things hitting played and that kind of stuff. And it was really causing the game to feel less responsive than it actually kind of was in terms of on a visual level. So that's good to see. General changes: dashes no longer hit past max range and are more accurate. Fixed a bug where immobilizations allowed a small amount of movement after application. This is definitely what I've noticed as well. Minions no longer receive hit knockbacks while dead or when killed. Minion spreads are more responsive now, addressing issues where they will walk back to formation after being knocked up. Improved deployable responsiveness, fixed an issue where some deployables were slightly delayed from the intended timing. Ymir received a polished pass to improve latency and responsiveness to his personal self-route and lock controls. And added a maintenance message at the top of the screen to show when servers are down. You've probably seen this if you were trying to log on immediately after the patch. Next up, UI UX improvements. So lines in the item store now connect components, making it easier to understand the flow of item building. Accolades have been greatly improved. Players will now see accolades for things they did. Players will also see text for actions they did not perform. Note some accolades are temporary. So yeah, there's definitely a couple. I think assist is temporary at the moment, but they do have these nice accolades that pop up on screen, very similar to how it happens in Smite 1 now, which is good. And I imagine a lot of that temporary art will be fixed, either in CA4 bonus updates or by the time CA5 rolls around. Bots can now be added to custom lobbies, which is cool. So if you want to test things out or just play against bots, if players are completely just not giving you a good time, you can do that. Role filters have been added to the gods page and match lobby. These filters show a subset of gods good in a specific role, making it easier for players to find appropriate gods, especially for newer players. So yeah, this is not something I'm going to use, but this is important. One of those things that they really do need to get in there as we approach January, where it appears like the game is probably going to be going free to play in January. Don't quote me on that. That's not something they've said. It's just, lining up with the Vegas land, lining up with getting 50 gods in the game. It seems like it might be going free to play in January. End of match lobby improvements. The results screen will now show progress towards account level, ascension level, and rank. This is a work in progress and may show some temporary inaccurate or incorrect god data. So yeah, this screen is cool as well. A little bit sort of Smite 1-esque, I guess. Well, it's just adding stuff that really should be there, which is good. Players will also see if they have ascension rewards to claim, and the scoreboard now highlights stat leaders. So yeah, it'll be a little highlight on whatever the top damage was on whoever got it. Fixed an issue where Titans were regenerating HP faster than intended while all Phoenixes were up. So yeah, I'm not sure if this is a double fix, but they also fixed this in one of the CA3 bonus updates. Moving on though, we have some arena changes. So a number of changes were made to reduce the snowball effect that led to one-sided matches in arena, more so than intended. Added more gift spawns to each team's side of the map and reduced spawns in the center, allowing teams closer to their base to access the buffs without falling further behind. Disabled the kill streak on fire mechanic to prevent win more situations. The damage increase was more impactful than the increased damage taken, leading to less balanced matches. Yeah, it generally will be. If you're ahead and you can burst people down really quickly, you just could be able to kill them before they were even allowed to deal any damage back to you, so I guess this makes sense. Though I did kind of like this mechanic. I thought it was pretty funny. And then they've also increased the XP spooling from 10 to 11 to match Smite 1 pacing, so it should give you a little bit more free XP and not be so reliant on being in the winning kind of driving seat in arena. Balance changes. So gods no longer have base strength. This is a big one. This stat has been replaced with basic attack power. Functionally, basic attack damage and scaling should feel identical, but gods with strength scaling are now decoupled from gaining strength per level. So yeah, this is a really big one. On this update, I imagine some strength gods will feel a little bit weak. They won't be completely unplayable, I don't think, because they're just losing about 40 or 50 strength. It's probably not going to take out, an absolutely massive amount of damage from their kit. But it is definitely very important. It is going to make strength gods feel a little bit weaker. So if you log on and you're playing your favorite strength god and they just feel a little bit weak for whatever reason, this is almost certainly why. But they have said they're going to be looking at all of these strength gods in future updates, or probably, honestly, in CA4 bonus balance updates like they've been doing. And they're going to even those out over time, buff the ones that need it, not buff the ones that don't really need it. But yeah, this is something that just needed to happen. Basic attack power makes a lot more sense than just giving everyone free strength, because you don't get free int, but you do get free strength. Visual improvements have been made to the God screen to enhance the overall user experience. This looks really good. I logged on for a flash test. I also logged on to the update to play a game or two. This looks really good, the new God screen. Moving on to the new gods though. So first up for this update, we have Danza, who doesn't really have all too many changes other than the passive, which if you've played any Smite 2 on the new patch, you've probably seen it if someone's been playing Danza. Dishonest duplication is his new passive, and basically you have a chance of spawning a clone of yourself with every basic attack that hits an enemy. This is not enemy god, this is enemy, so it spawns on minions and fire giant and stuff as well. The clones will last 3 seconds, deal 30% of your basic attack damage, and take 500% increased damage. So they're going to take 6 times damage. They're going to die very quickly. They're only going to last 3 seconds. The clones have a 5% plus 0.25% per level chance of spawning a clone. So basically at level 20, that is going to be a 10% chance, and clones will target the first enemy that was hit when they were created. And if you are in the field of your 3, the duplication chance is doubled to spawn these clones, so you'll have a base 20% chance at level 20 if you're trying to spawn clones from inside the Tanuki trickery field. And it's not listed here, but I think the other major change that they were doing for Danza really, he's not gotten all too much. He is a relatively well-loved god anyway, so it kind of makes sense. But yeah, the other change that's not doesn't appear to be listed here is that you can now jump off of the rocket at any time. So if you become the rocket and you're sort of like going in and you think, oh, maybe I shouldn't go in here, or maybe I should just let the rocket kind of go in, you can just jump out of the rocket at any time if you were inside it, and it just goes off on the trajectory it was going. And so that's pretty cool. You can kind of like ride it most of the way into a fight, but then drop out around basic attack range, let it fly in, stun everyone, and then basic attack them down and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. But other than that, I don't think Danza got any too major changes. It's just the clone shenanigans, which interacts with the 3, and then also that change to his ultimate that I just mentioned. Next up, we have Hercules, though, a very exciting one of my all-time faves. So he's got a completely new passive, Apotheosis. So Hercules gains strength when enemy gods damage him. This stacks up to 3 times and lasts 5 seconds. Additionally, hitting a target with an ability grants a stack towards achieving Apotheosis, or 2 stacks from his ultimate. At 4 stacks, enter an empowered state that immediately subtracts 2 seconds from active cooldowns and provides an additional strength, protections, and cleaving basic attacks for the duration. So yeah, I have played with this one. I have tried Hercules on the new update. It's a lot of fun. Basically, if you just hit like your 2-1 combo and then ult someone, that gives you 4 stacks because you get 1 from each of your basic abilities and 2 from the ult. And then you go into this big mode, you get off of your cooldowns, you get basically an absolute crap ton of a bunch of free stats. You get protections, you get strength, and you also go big, which is kind of funny. I did try out a build where you activate this Hercules passive and you activate Avatar's Parashu and Dreamer's Idol, and you become like the size of like probably bigger than Cthulhu. It's kind of silly, but yeah, you get cleaving basic attacks for the duration as well. It's a really cool idea. I like it. And that's like the main thing they've changed with Hercules. Not too much else is really going on with him. He's a very compact design that is pretty well loved. One other thing they did do is the ultimate now is a knock-up. So the boulder, as you throw it and it hits people, it's going to knock people up. Or I suppose displace is a better word to use in Smite 2. They're trying to unify it all into being a displacement. But yeah, it basically is a short knock-up. It's sort of like a Geb 2 style knock-up. It's not going to throw them like high in the air like a Bacchus flop, but it's just going to be a relatively short knock-up that's good for like interrupting or just like confirming your 2 off of it or whatever. And the other thing they did, Earthbreaker, they've kind of changed the way the tech works on Earthbreaker a little bit. It's going to sort of respect physics and line of sight a little bit more. So basically, it's kind of hard to explain, but in Smite 1, if you had like a line of sight blocker, like a wall in between you and where the enemy was that you were hitting with Earthbreaker, they would just completely stop on the wall and just drop straight down. Whereas now in Smite 2, if they hit that wall, they're going to slide along it in kind of like the momentum that they had coming towards it. So you can kind of like slide people along the side of a wall and pull them out from it. It's hard to explain. You'll probably notice it in game or like if you watched any of the Titan talks. But yeah, that's another change they made to Herc. But yeah, other than this large list of bug fixes, which you can read over if you wish, I'll link the patch notes down below as always. That is basically everything coming in CA4. It is a relatively smaller update, but they pushed it in 2 weeks, which is really impressive, honestly. And there isn't really any balance in this update, but we did get a very big balance patch recently in one of the CA3 mini updates that I covered as well. And I imagine we'll be getting some mini updates throughout the course of CA4 as we approach CA5. And excitingly, CA5 is when the god roster is going to start ramping up. So I think CA5 might have more than 2 gods. Don't quote me on that. I'm not entirely sure, but I know they did say like they're trying to ramp up the god releases, and they're going to have to if they're going to hit 50 by January. You know, even if we take the end of January, that's like about 3.5 months that they've got to add about 30 gods, maybe not quite 30, maybe like 25 gods. So they're definitely going to need to pick up the pace a little bit with adding the gods. Obviously, this patch was a 2-week patch cycle, so 2 gods every 2 weeks is a pretty good pace overall. But even still, I think they need to go faster than that to actually get to 50 gods by January. So I imagine CA5 is probably going to be the start of us getting a few more gods per patch. So that's pretty exciting. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my coverage of the CA4 notes, and I will catch you guys for another one later on. Have a great day, and peace out, you nerds.